When adding with, today I'm going to teach you how to add, subtract, multiply, and divide with decimals. First, we're going to start off with adding and subtracting because those are probably the two easiest. With adding and subtracting, you do basically the same steps. First, you line up the decimals. So, for example, 3.56 plus 6.79. So, as you can see, I lined up both the decimals because for both subtracting, so if I do it all the way around, it would be the exact same thing, except but for multiplying and dividing, you don't line up the decimals. Those are two different things as well. So when adding and subtracting with decimals, you're always going to make sure to line up the decimals, and after you line up the decimals, put the decimal right under, and then after that, just add. So 6 plus 9 is 15, 5 plus 7 is 12, plus 1 is 13, and 3 plus 6 is 9, and plus 1 is 10. So that would be the answer. And if you're going to do subtracting, it would be 9 minus 6 is 3, 7 minus 5 is 2, and 6 minus 3 is 3. So that was how you do it. So for adding and subtracting, it's pretty simple. So for multiplying and dividing, it's very different. But I'm going to show you multiplying first. For multiplying, you would, for example, for multiplying, it would be very much different from adding and subtracting. In adding and subtracting, for example, 2.79 or subtract 2.4, you would put the decimals right under, like this. But instead, for multiplication, you would just regularly put the number straight under. So, for multiplication, 2.79 times 32.4, you would just put 32.4 right under instead of lining the decimals up. After you've done it, I'm now going to do the answer, again. So, 8.5 times 3.62. 5 times 2 is 10. 8 times 2 is 16, plus 1 is 17. 7 times 2 is 14. 14 plus 1 is 15. Placeholder. 5 times 6 is 30. 8 times 6 is 48. 48 plus 3 is 51. And 7 times 6 is 42. And 42 plus 5 is 47. 5 times 3 is 15. 8 times 3 is 24. 24 plus 1 is 25. And 7 times 3 is 21. And 21 plus 2 is 23. And so you would add them. 0, 7. 5 plus 5 is 10. 10 plus 1 is 11. 1 plus 1 is 2. 2 plus 7 is 9. And 9 plus 5 is 14. 4 plus 3 is 7, and 7 plus 1 is 8, and then it would be 2. So then you would count the decimal places. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So if you got the correct answer, it would be this. And another thing that I forgot to tell you is that if you have leftover zeros, you can take those out. So you can also have this as well. For dividing, it'd be much more also very different from adding, subtracting, and multiplying. As a regular division problem would go, it would be for example, 5 divided by 10. So if it was decimals, it'd be example 6 divided by 13.9. And so if you were going to divide by decimal, you would first have to find a decimal place for 6. But how do you find it? Well, first you just, as you can see, the 6 is just a regular whole number without a decimal. So you have to add one by yourself by placing one next to it, because if you don't add the decimal, then you can't do the problem. So you gotta add the decimal first, and then you would count down how many decimals it would go. So there'd be 1 decimal place, because it's still a whole number, but we gotta make it a decimal to make it into the problem. So you would move the problem here, and so it'd be this. But if in division problems, when you are dividing with division, you would usually keep the same space. So we would move this also 1 place as well. And so you can put placeholders here as well. So after that, you take those away if you want. And then you would just regularly divide. 6 goes into 13 by 2, 12 by 1, 19, and then 3. So that would be 23 and 1/6. And now we're gonna do some examples. So for number 1, we have an addition problem. So I will give you time to do that. And so after you got the answer, I'm gonna do the answer to see if you have the right answer or not. 9.72 plus 3.51. Oh, you gotta make sure that you line up the decimals there. Yeah. And so 2 plus 1 is 3. 7 plus 5 is 12, and 9 plus 3 equals 12, and 12 plus 1 is 13. So decimal down. If you got 13.23, you are correct. And now for question 2, 83.7 minus 61.5. I will now give you time to do that. So after you've done the answer, I'm now gonna do the question to see if you got it right or not. So 83.7 minus 61.5. 7 minus 5 is 2. 3 minus 1 is 2 as well. And 8 minus 6 is 2. So if you got 22.2, you're correct. And now we're gonna do multiplication. So I'm gonna give you time to do that. Make it longer. Okay, so last question is now division, and I'll give you time to do that. Okay, so now I will do the question to show you the answer. 7.43 divided by 3. You would add the decimal because it needs one. You would put it back here. And then you would also move this decimal over here. So move this. And you can remove these if you want as well. So 3 goes into 7 by 2. Bring down 4. 14 goes into 3 by 4. And 23 goes into 3 by 7. And so the answer would be 24, 7, and 2/3. Okay guys, this has been my lesson, and this is the end of the video. And if I'm gonna make more videos, I will make more videos like this, and so I will see you guys later. Bye!